On behalf of Kelsey and baby Channing, Alice and Rob, Ryan and myself, his extended family and friends, your love and support means everything, and we count on it. If you'll join me now. Almighty and merciful God, we rejoice in your promise of love, joy, and peace. In your mercy, we turn the darkness of death and the sorrow of Cory's passing into the joy of heaven. We thank you for Cory, his life, his love, his smile, and all the memories we will cherish. We ask you to cover Kelsey and baby Channing with your mercy and comfort. Today we commit Cory to an everlasting life. In this time of trial, sadness, disbelief, and anger, give us faith to see that death has been relieved by our Lord Jesus Christ. Our Father, who art in heaven, please join me. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And let us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. The kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Well, there's some Lutherans in the group, and some Catholics. You ready, babes? It's all you.
As everybody knows, I'm Kelsey, I'm Cory's wife. To echo what Michelle said, thank you everybody for being here and showing your support and love. It's very comforting to me to see that not only, myself and Alice and Nick and all of our family love Cory, but just I've met people today that I've never met before, and just amazing to see how many people love my husband. Mine and Cory's love began in 2013. I had always been really picky with men. You can ask my sister. We actually went to the Renaissance Fair one year and we went to a fortune teller, and she told me that my knight in shining armor was around the corner. Well, Cory must have been lost, because it was a few years more. So, being the picky person that I was, my sister and my cousin Jess decided to make me a Plenty of Fish profile. I went on there, it was kind of comical, became a hobby. Every day I go on there, check, there's a lot of weirdos on there. I was getting messages about, I'm so beautiful and mysterious, people wanted to feed me hot Cheetos all day, what kind of apples do I like, red, green, or yellow, all kinds of odd things. And I'm scrolling through one day and I see this guy, strikingly handsome. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna check this guy's profile out, and all it says is, cool guy looking for a cool girl. This was different, because when you're on Plenty of Fish, you go through somebody's profile and they're telling you their whole life story. And I'm like, I don't need to know what color your, backpack was in kindergarten.
I told him to write their kids.
So, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna send him something, and getting all these messages from weird people, and they, in their messages to you, would tell you their whole life story. I just sent Cory hey, because I'm thinking on the back of my mind, this guy's probably not real. He's so good looking. This is a catfish. And I get a hey back. So we started talking. Talked a couple weeks on there, exchanged phone numbers, we're texting, and Cory and I decided to meet up. Well, he blew me off once first.
I told him to do that too.
Yeah. He actually, no, he wasn't late. He actually blew me off. He went to Chicago. I was still here. They went to Chicago together. So, but I gave him another chance. He knew that I was a big Blackhawks and hockey fan, so when the Blackhawks won, he said, hey, why don't you bring a friend, and I'll bring a friend, and we'll meet up in the city. Side note, little did I know that a week before we met on Plenty of Fish, his profile actually said, if you look like an effing coloring book, don't even mess with me. Here I am with all these tattoos. So, luckily, I found him a week after he changed that. So, we met in the city. I took my best friend Allie, he brought Ed. We went and we hit it off. So he actually ended up taking the train back with us. We hung out in downtown Crystal Lake, and then he asked me to go on a date the next day, and we went to Chili's, and he actually got a phone call in the middle of dinner. I got a club sandwich, this is important. He got a phone call in the middle of dinner from a friend he hadn't talked to in years, and he said, "Do you mind if I take this?" I said, "No, go ahead." So he takes the phone call, and his friend must have asked him what he was doing at the moment, and as he asks, I am wrapping my mouth around this huge sandwich, and he goes, "I don't know, I guess I'm on a date with a goat."
What?
And then he asked me to be his girlfriend that night, and I said yes. So
That's my son.
this tatted up goat, he still loved me, and I loved him for so many reasons. I like to say Cory was kind of like he's kind of like an M&M. He has this kind of hard exterior, and he's got that, as I have, resting bitch face. But once you get to know him, his shell cracks really easily, and then he's like just mushy on the inside. He's very sensitive, and that was one of the things that we couldn't get over, his sensitivity. I mean, we would every once in a while watch America's Got Talent. It was just one of those shows that if it was on, we'd watch it. And I remember this little girl, Angelica Hale was her name, and they did the montage of the story, and she had actually had a kidney transplant. So, it's a cute little story. She's good now, and she starts singing "Girl on Fire" by Alicia Keys. The song doesn't really matter, but she's singing, and I look over, and Cory is sobbing. I had to laugh and giggle. I mean, it's just so cute. And, he was sensitive like that. Same thing with his love for animals. He loved our dogs. He loved all animals. We went to the Wisconsin Dells this past winter, and my sister Clancy and I and the three girls, all three of them, went to this park where there's deer walking around, and you bring these like biscuit things.
And he was sobbing.
No, he wasn't sobbing, but he had a herd of deer following him. So they liked him too.
He's sobbing at the deer.
And then, if you read the obituary, you read about the time I hit a raccoon and he was crying. Just a sensitive animal lover. And actually, Cory's been messing with me last night when I was driving. Actually, I don't know if it was last night or the night before. I was driving over to see Alice and Nick, and the person in front of me hit a raccoon. And the raccoon was okay. He kind of fumbled and walked off. But I was like, Cory, thank you for not throwing that in front of my little spark. I don't know how well it would be. Cory was also very genuine. He wore his heart on his sleeve. If he was mad, you knew he was mad. If he was sad, you knew that too. And that's something I really admire in people when they're genuine. Don't be fake. Just I want to know if you're happy, if you're sad. And that was one thing that he didn't hide. He always let me know how he was feeling, and if he wouldn't say it, his face did. And then, most importantly, was how Cory was with children. Was just something I knew since we started dating 10 years ago. Whenever he saw kids, he'd be waving and everything. And then my sister started having kids, and just seeing him with his nieces was amazing. And then we had little Channing, and the short time that he got to spend with him, it was just, amazing. Just the look that he gave Channing was, it's just something you can never forget, because he loved that little boy and he loved her back. And let's see. I know Cory is up in what my niece Rowan calls Kevin, looking down at us. And being raised Catholic, and throughout my medical journey, being somebody that actually passed away, and I've seen the light and been through that whole thing, I do believe that Cory is up in heaven. And Cory did struggle a little bit with the belief in God. But I do remember a specific night at Alice's house, and Ed was there too. We were talking about God, and he said he didn't know if he believed or not, and his mom proposed a question if Kelsey hadn't made it through her transplant or her internal bleeding or what, any of the things that I've gone through, what would his explanation be? And he said if Kelsey hadn't survived, then I believe God needed his angel back. And that's how I feel. I think maybe they're really running low on laughs up in heaven because they needed an angel and they need Cory to spread some laughter up there. So, that brings me comfort knowing that, I think Cory's here with us. I think he knows what's going on, and I'm sure feels all the love that we have for him. I'm not gonna say I feel like it's fair that he's gone. It certainly sucks. I think God must think I'm a really badass chick, and because they say that God only gives you what you can handle, but God, you're kind of pushing me to my limits here. I know Cory's up with the rest of my angels, but I want to keep all my other people down here for now. But to kind of wrap things up, I think my husband was put on this earth to spread happiness, love, and laughter. He truly just, the last 10 years that I got to spend with him wasn't enough, but we've had so many good memories that it will last me a lifetime. And Cory, wherever you were, are, and forever will be my greatest love of my life. So that's it.
Thanks really very much.